Welcome back into another episode of Hefe's World. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. But let's go ahead and get right into it. We are doing the Raw review episode. Raw kicked off with Jey Uso calling out Seth Rollins. But LA Knight ends up answering that, and his music hits. They cut promos in the ring. That's followed up with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker coming out. Braun ends up challenging LA Knight and Jey Uso to a tag team matchup later on tonight in the main event, which Jey Uso and LA Knight, of course, accept. Then backstage, we get to Io Sky and the Kabuki Warriors. Little promo in the back and forth, back to the ring. We get Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez versus the Kabuki Warriors. The winners of this great matchup was the Kabuki Warriors. Then we get a video package that from Adam Pearce, Stephanie Valkyr versus Io Sky at WrestlePalooza in Indy for the women's title is official. That match is definitely going to be one hell of a match for sure. I kind of was hoping for a little bit more out of that women's title match, possibly like Rhea Ripley or somebody else to be added like a fatal four-way triple threat, even a stipulation. But hey, Stephanie versus Io is definitely going to be one hell of a match for sure, and they should put on a classic singles matchup. Then back to the ring, we have Finn versus Dragon Lee. Great back and forth matchup, but of course the winner with some outside interference help was Finn Balor. And then backstage, we have Io Sky and Nikki Bella. The Kabuki Warriors end up walking in after Nikki Bella leaves. And then backstage, we have the Judgment Day with Adam Pearce. He tells JD and Finn that they are not allowed out during the Dominic Mysterio Intercontinental Championship matchup. And then we get back to the ring. We have the New Day and Grayson Waller versus Penta and the War Raiders. The winners were Penta and the War Raiders. Great matchup between these guys. It's kind of weird to see Grayson Waller out with the New Day. It does to me. It just doesn't fit. Doesn't seem right. So we'll see what direction they go with that. But then backstage we have Rhea Ripley and the Kabuki Warriors walk in, and her and Asuka go back and forth. Um, I'm sure this will lead to a program very soon between those two. Backstage, we have Adam Pearce and Roxanne and Raquel. Lyra ends up walking in, and Lyra ends up going back and forth with Judgment Day members Roxanne and Raquel, mainly Roxanne. They end up leaving, and then Lyra and Pierce have a little one-on-one talk. And then back to the ring, we have AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio for that Intercontinental Championship matchup. Great back and forth matchup that I was hoping AJ Styles would come away victorious in. But with a little help from El Grande Americano and that mask, Dominic Mysterio would pick up the victory, and we still have our Intercontinental Champion as Dom. Then backstage, we see LA Knight and Jey Uso walks up. They have a little back and forth, and backstage we have Rhea Ripley and CM Punk. Adam Pearce would end up walking up to CM Punk and tells him that Seth Rollins is already here. And then back to the ring, CM Punk makes his way out and calls out Seth Rollins. However, Becky Lynch comes out instead, and they have a back and forth where Seth Rollins ends up coming out and standing at the very top of the entrance ramp, tells Punk to come after him. Becky, however, stands in his way, doesn't allow him to go anywhere. Um, by the time Punk finally gets around her, Seth Rollins ends up walking away. Punk turns around to continue to talk to Becky Lynch. However, Becky slaps Punk continuously, and this leads to another back and forth, which leads everybody's speculation to AJ Lee possibly coming back to the WWE because CM Punk said that she is going to regret putting her hands on her. After this segment, we have our main event: Jey Uso, LA Knight versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. The winners of this matchup were Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. After the matchup, they attack Jey Uso. LA Knight tries to help. However, that fails, of course. They throw LA Knight back to the outside of the ring. They continue their attack on Jey Uso. Finally, Jimmy Uso comes down with a chair for the save. Braun and Bronson exit the ring. Jimmy checks on Jey, and this ends Monday Night Raw. So make sure you guys tap in for my SmackDown preview later on this week, and we'll see what happens next Monday night. Just remember, this is Hefe's World, and you're just living in it.